A very divisive rumor has come out in the last couple of weeks that states that New Super Mario Bros. U and New Super Luigi U will be coming to the Nintendo Switch, and it's gotten many fans riled up. There are fans who are very happy about this. They're very vocal, saying that they never got the opportunity to play the game on the Wii U, and they're very excited to see that it's coming to the Switch, a platform which they can now play the game on. But there's also people complaining about the lack of new games coming on the Switch, and this is just contributing to the endless port problem that Nintendo has been having. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, you'd know that my initial response to the New Super Mario Bros. U port idea was very negative, but as I discovered more information about it, I started to become a little bit more positive about this idea, and I'm sort of leaning in the middle right now. In this video, I'm going to share with you what I believe is the real reason behind why this is actually happening in the first place. I'm going to share with you some pros about it, some cons about it, my general viewpoint, and I'm also going to tell you how I believe that this strongly affects the future of the Nintendo Switch and some future games that we could be getting on the console because of this. Let's start with why this is happening in the first place. There's obviously many reasons for why this is happening, but the big one is money. Like all of the ports going onto the Nintendo Switch, it's basically a blatant cash grab, and that's a big problem that a lot of people on the opposing side have with this. But yes, it's another way for Nintendo to make a few bucks by selling a game that they already created and then just putting it on a new platform. Another reason why this could have been done is to pad out the releases for Nintendo games throughout the year. What I mean by this is that 2018 so far for the Nintendo Switch in terms of original first-party titles has been pretty lackluster. We haven't gotten too many of them, certainly not any major ones, and the only major titles coming out are at the end of this year, being Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, as well as Super Smash Bros. The big one is the latter. We could all definitely expect Smash to do great, probably Super Mario Odyssey levels of great, 10 million plus units. We could certainly expect that because it's Smash Brothers. The Let's Go games are a little bit of a mixed bag. They don't hit at home with hardcore Pokemon fans as much as a new main series title would, but they also really appeal to the casual market, and I think they could end up working as good tools to convert the fan base over to a new console. Super Mario Party, another Mario title, is taking up a spot in October. This is a title that I personally am very excited for, but most hardcore Nintendo fans, lots of them probably don't consider Mario Party a huge first-party release, even though it is to some people. I'm very excited to see Mario Party finally get the return to form. Nintendo is listening to us in terms of Mario Party titles, not giving us the same format that we got in the last few games, which really pissed some people off, but now we're getting the original formula that we got from Mario Parties 1 through 8, and it's very exciting. I don't like going into games with a preconceived notion of how I'm going to experience it and how I'm going to feel about it, but this definitely looks like a good one. Some of the minigame gameplay that we've seen from it looks fun, and just experiencing the original style again will give me a lot of nostalgia, and that will just generally increase my enjoyment. But what was the point of that whole tangent? Well, Nintendo might feel that they're not strong enough in October because historically Mario Party games have always sold well, but there's only 2 of them that have sold extraordinarily well. Like, I'm talking 8-9 million units, and those are Mario Party 8 on the Wii and Mario Party DS. And while the Switch has sold really good, it hasn't sold as well as those 2 platforms. And it would be very hard pressed for Nintendo to expect sales numbers like the ones that they got on those 2 platforms as of right now. And so if Nintendo feels like they need more help in October, I think that would be a great month for them to put this new Super Mario Bros. U game on the Nintendo Switch. After all, this rumor didn't really give a concrete date on when it's going to be releasing or even a big time frame. It just said probably sometime this year. So I'm going to be operating off the assumption that Nintendo is going to release this game around October. I think September would be too soon because that's probably when they would announce it in a Nintendo Direct. So probably later on in October would be good, as if it's not November, it's not going to interfere with Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. And anytime after Smash Bros. Ultimate releases would probably be too late in the year, and they would really want to release a game before that. But how are fans actually going to react to this game? Well, let's go over that right now. Let's start with some of the positives about this. Number 1, it's very good for Nintendo's finances. It's a well-known fact that they've been struggling a little bit financially lately in terms of the investors, not necessarily how much money they're making, but the investors and the stocks, those are lowering right now. But this could all be brought up with some more sales at the end of the year, and people would think that Nintendo has a good shot at making 2019 a huge success. I mean, we do have some big titles already confirmed for 2019, and it's not even 2019 yet. Metroid Prime 4, the Generation 8 all-new Pokemon Adventure, Fire Emblem, Bayonetta, those are just some of the big releases that Nintendo has for exclusives coming next year. So with a strong end to 2018 that maybe makes people forget a little bit about how bad the start of 2018 has been so far for the Switch, and a good path going into 2019, I really think could help them out here. They're definitely not struggling, but it's going to help them out even further, and as a big company, Nintendo wants a lot more money. But aside from the pros for a multi-billion-dollar organization, let's focus on the pros for the consumers. Obviously, for people who have never played New Super Mario Bros. U before, this would probably be a good thing. They have the option to buy it again when they had missed out on it by not having a Wii U, or maybe they had a Wii U and just decided not to buy it at that time, but they want to buy it on the Switch because of the added portability and the presumable new features that it's going to have, according to this rumor, how it may have new characters, new levels, and all that good stuff that you would expect from an enhanced version of a game. As for whether or not this is going to reach the amount of new content being put into the game as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has, which I was very pleased with, we still have to see. After all, this game has not been revealed yet, and not everything about this rumor could be set in stone. While I think the rumor itself is very valid because of the reputable source that it's coming from, I don't necessarily know if all the details are going to be correct. Obviously, things change. But even without the rumor, I think it would be a safe assumption that New Super Mario Bros. U would be coming to the Switch anyway. It's a very popular game on the Wii U, and some of the popular titles from the system have already been ported to the Switch. It was only natural to want to bring this one over. But with all the positives that we see about this game coming to the Switch, there's obviously people who are not excited about it as much. This is how I originally felt about it. I felt like this is contributing to the port problem on the Nintendo Switch. I've been tired of not getting enough new content on my Switch, and these ports are really just filling in the gaps. Which they really are. That is the truth of it. I don't really think that Nintendo anticipated the Switch to do as good as it did, and therefore they didn't have enough software really lined up for it. They probably thought that it was going to do like the Wii U, or maybe even less, that you don't really know until the system comes out. But with the combination of the good concept, the good marketing, and all that stuff, the Switch was able to succeed, and it's continuing to succeed. So internally, Nintendo probably went as they saw how the numbers for the Switch were initially doing. Okay, it's time to bring out the big guns. That software that we had planned that we might have held off until the next console, some of those big games, we're putting those in production now. So we're probably going to have to wait a little bit later down the line in order to experience some of the new content just because of the uncertainty surrounding the launch of the Nintendo Switch. So right now, Nintendo is just putting these ports on the Switch to try and satisfy consumers. Maybe they'll double dip with a port that doesn't have too much new content. For example, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. That game really doesn't have much new content at all. You can play as Funky Kong, which is basically an easy mode for the game, and that's pretty much it. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I think, does the port treatment the best because it's hard to really consider it a port, really. It's an enhanced version of the game. It puts in some new characters and a battle mode, which was very highly requested because people really didn't like the battle mode in the original Mario Kart 8. But now that we have the enhanced one, it makes a lot of those people happy. And I myself was one of those people who thought, oh man, there's going to be a lot of new content in this game. I think it's going to be enough to satisfy me for that second purchase, and that's exactly what I did. But with a 2D Mario game, I think that'll be kind of hard to achieve. Yeah, introducing a new playable character will be fine, but it's just like introducing Funky Kong for Tropical Freeze, and nobody really thought of that as much new content at all. New levels would be fun, and even in the rumor, it sort of states that maybe a new game mode will be possible. Let's see what that is before we make our judgments about it. But yeah, really, if this is a combination package with New Super Mario Bros. U and New Super Luigi U, which is unoriginal, by the way, as in the Nintendo Selects line, they have been releasing those games already. They may just call it New Super Mario Bros. Deluxe when they release it on the Nintendo Switch, as the U in the name will sort of give some callbacks to an era that Nintendo probably doesn't want you to remember as well. Another problem that I hear fans complaining about for New Super Mario Bros. U coming to the Switch is that they are charging full price for this game again when it's been on discount on the Wii U for a long time. I get that you add the portability to this game by putting it on the Switch, which is a system that has far more possibilities for gameplay when you take your game from the home console and bring it on the go with you, as opposed to the Wii U where you cannot do that, and that obviously brings some new functionality in there, but does that really warrant the full price point? Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, okay, you could charge full price for that game, I understand it, there's a lot of new content. If this New Super Mario Bros. U port doesn't doesn't add a significant amount of content, I don't think it's warranted charging the full price for it, even if it comes with New Super Luigi U, which was just DLC for New Super Mario Bros. U in the first place. It would be expected to have New Super Luigi U come with the game anyways, so I don't really think that it's much of a bonus to have it included in there. Are new levels a big enough incentive to up the game to the full-on price point? Because we just saw Captain Toad Treasure Tracker do that, and many people weren't really happy that they had to be charged full price for that game either. I think just a lot of the port haters are really just upset that Nintendo is charging full price for games that they have been charging on discount for the longest time. It's like they're treating it as all new software where it's blatantly not. But I think that sums up the arguments for whether or not this game coming to the Switch is a good idea. As of right now, I stand somewhere in the middle because I personally, as somebody who has played this game before, is probably not looking into purchasing this game again for full price, and therefore I'm not the most happy that Nintendo is trying to market this as another game in the Switch's library. It artificially makes the Nintendo Switch's game library seem bigger than it actually is, because that library is filled with a bunch of Wii U titles. Wii U games which were good, by the way. I did definitely enjoy New Super Mario Bros. U when I played it, as well as New Super Luigi U, and I definitely don't want people to think that I oppose the game because it's being ported, and I don't think it's a good game just because it's being ported. I am absolutely against that philosophy. You know, everybody's so quick to judge the Wii U nowadays because they like to look on it in the past and judge it as not a very good console at all and throw it aside, basically. But the Wii U did have a lot of good software, and that's basically why Nintendo was porting it over to the Switch in the first place. The part of me that dislikes New Super Mario Bros. U going to the Switch does not dislike it for the quality of the game, and simply dislikes it for the fact that Nintendo is milking this New Super Mario Bros. Series and milking all these Wii U games to get as much money out of them as possible. That's another thing. I'm really just tired of seeing the logo New Super Mario Bros. Nintendo has definitely got to change up how they do their 2D games. Like, give Mario some new moves or something. I mean, I guess it's a topic for a future video. But what are the future implications of this New Super Mario Bros. U rumor? Well, another game that I could definitely see coming to the Nintendo Switch after this one has been announced is Super Mario Maker. This would be a port that I would be much more enthusiastic about coming to the Nintendo Switch. Now, before you point out the hypocrisy in that statement, let me explain myself. I already said numerous times in this video that I'm perfectly fine with what Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is. It's even selling more on the Nintendo Switch than it did on the Wii U as an unoriginal game in concept, but the large amount of new content added to it for me makes it a worthwhile second time purchase. And if Super Mario Maker adds a lot of new content that fans have been requesting for, I think that would definitely warrant a new purchase as well. Porting Super Mario Maker over is also sort of different, because a 2D Mario game being ported over, that's just a singular adventure by yourself, whereas Mario Maker is a game which creates a community. I'm not saying that one game concept is better than the other. One game lets you make and play 2D Mario levels, and the other game is a custom-built 2D adventure for you. However, that 2D adventure is offline, and it's sort of the type of game where if you experience it once, you've experienced it, whereas Mario Maker always has constant new things for you to try out. It is a community-based game, and you're never going to run out of levels because of that, and that's where I find the difference here. I would be more happy with Mario Maker being straight up ported than I am with a New Super Mario Bros. U being straight up ported. Even though that's likely not the case for either of those two games, I would be more happy because of the style that Mario Maker is in. Again, not a critique on the game itself, but a critique on the style that it is in. But in terms of the features that I would like in a Super Mario Maker Deluxe on the Nintendo Switch, I'm going to save that for my next video. So remember to subscribe and click the bell icon so that you do not miss it. And if you're watching this video in the future and the video is already out, click the link on the screen to go and watch it. And I'll see you next time.